So, hi there, teachers. Really great to see you all today. So, hi there. I'm going to switch on our Instagram live so that you can watch it if you want to. Okay. So, hi everyone. Really great to see you. So, you can write in the chat. Okay. So, I'm now switching on the Instagram live there. Okay. So, hi everyone. So, it's super cool to see you all today. So, hi there, teachers. Hi, colleagues. So, and welcome to Sky Teach Live and Sky Teach Stream. Yeah, so really great to have you today. Okay, so I think that we are going to start. So please write if you can hear me, if you can see me, if the connection is okay. So please type something in the chat. So I'm going to read this. Okay. So why you do this? So let me introduce myself. So my name is Yana Sher, and I'm a chief methodologist of Skyeng Premium Department. And it's really great to have this live today with you. We have a really specific agenda today, so that's the talk on Ielts and specifically Ielts Writing 2. So we'll discuss the essay writing. Okay, so can you please write in the chat if you can hear me or not? So, and okay, so I see that there is a trouble with Instagram, so just give me a second. So that will appear. Okay. So, just a second. So tell me please how it is going right now and whether you can hear me or not. And in the meantime, so I'm gonna add the part. Okay, so then I'll be without the headphones right now. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I know that in contact, so everything is okay. So just tell me how it is right now on Instagram. So, so let's try to. So I'm gonna add our topic today. So we'll discuss IELTS essay writing and we'll. Yeah, so hi there. So please tell me how it's going on. So, and what's the connection right now? Okay, yeah, so sorry for some problems with Instagram. I will just do it once again, so just give me a second. Yeah. Okay. So while I'm re-streaming the Instagram live, can you please type in our contacted chat so about your experience with IELTS and have you maybe passed the exam? Have you prepared for the exam? And have you ever experienced any troubles with preparation? So I'm gonna toss the Instagram once again so that it will do. And this will be okay, so I just need help with this one. Okay, so trying once again. Okay. So while you're typing, so let's discuss. I know that many teachers right now are thinking about passing this exam. So IELTS has become super popular these days, and that's a real life story. Wow, so still no one can hear me. That's really strange. Why it's not working in Instagram? Okay, so guys, we can have it in Contacte. So, and I'll try to reload so that it will work in a while. Okay, so let me just talk about the agenda that we are going to have. So just for 40 minutes straight, we are going to talk about IELTS writing 2. So we'll discuss the essay. So we have the checklist for 4 criteria of assessment. We'll discuss the typical mistakes, and I will try to answer your questions at the end so that it will be it. So Right now, I'd like to ask you some questions about IELTS and give you some numbers. So please type in contact the chat. So I'm going to see this later. So first number is 250. So how do you think? So what do you think? So how it can be connected with the IELTS rating? So 250. What's this one? So just for those of you who are passing this and who know this, yeah, so 250, this clearly means that we have to write not less than 250 words. Okay, so let's get to one more number. So 2. So number 2. What's important about this one? So Margarita says like 250 words is minimum number. NASA is yeah, so that's right. So number 2. So we talk about IELTS essay writing. I was writing 2. So 2 parts, yes, it could be, and one more, so that we have 2 types of IELTS writing. We have IELTS general and IELTS academic. So we have to think about both of this, just not to forget. Okay, so next number is 35 or 40. And during the course, we're going to discuss why exactly I said 35 and not just 40. So what do you think about 35? And while you're writing a number, so how number 35 is connected to IELTS, I would try to make the IELTS, so the Instagram live once again, just to see if it goes on. Okay, so with 35 or 40, so that's the number of minutes that you're going to spend. So usually, so I'm going to say that it's just 40 minutes, but we need to understand that there is some checking going on, yeah? So, and writing, so that's why 35, so that's the maximum number of minutes that you can spend on the content writing. Okay, so next number is 6. So what's there with number 6? Yeah, so you're thinking about so the answer of time. So number 6 there is for the number of questions, so number of types of questions that appear. We're not going to touch them all today, so unfortunately no. So this one, do you think? But we'll definitely try to touch some of the topics and discuss why it's happening this or that way. Okay, so then let us proceed. I'll tell you why this topic is particularly important and why we need to think about this and remind ourselves about IELTS writing. If you passed your IELTS before, or maybe if you're in the process of preparing and you have already had the mock test going on, you know that usually writing band score is lower, so it's like much lower than what you have for the other skills, for the receptive skills, so listening and reading. I've seen the results of the teachers who have 9 for listening, 9 for reading, and then absolutely like out of nowhere, so they have this 6.0 on writing, and they're quite frustrated about the topic, so they're frustrated to see such a low score. So if you've been there, done this, so please just write in the chat as well. Okay. So I want to share some stats with you, so a bit of statistics on how it's going on and why it's happening like this. If we go to IELTS official stats and check what's happening with the IELTS band score, we're going to find that Russia has the mean 6.0 on IELTS writing. So you might think that's quite low. So, and if you pass higher than this, if you pass higher than 6.0, wow, so that's great. So it means that you just contributed to the way that it is 6.0. But there are not so many countries higher than Russia. So we have just 3 or 4. Example there is like the Philippines with 6.1, Nigeria with 6.2, and Germany is the highest according to 2020 report. So having 6.3, the average, so the mean score for this. Yeah. Okay. So then let's talk about the things like why that's happening. So we know that productive skills are difficult. Yeah, so we know this for sure. So that is super hard sometimes to do it right with productive skills and to do this on the spot and to create and prepare, right? And there are some other reasons. You can just type it in the chat as well. So what do you think are the reasons that students and maybe you, like teachers, have problems with while writing? If you are preparing for other Cambridge line exams like CAE or CPE, so definitely know the answer. So because you've been there, done that. So just type in there. So if you have some of the things. Okay. So just yeah, I think that I'm going to try to go to Instagram live once again. So and let's hope that this will work. Well, you're typing. Okay. And let's see how it's going to run there. Okay. So the answer while writing is so difficult. So we don't work with the skill every day. So that's right. So in real life, yeah. So in real life, we don't have practice of writing essays, yeah. So if you don't work with the students like day after day, so you won't have it. Okay, so please, guys, write in Instagram chat. So can you hear me right now? So is it going? Wow, so wonderful. So great. So we're still discussing IELTS writing too, and right now we talk about the reasons why writing is so difficult. So I'm going to tell you some of the ideas where writing can be difficult. So, and that's according to the official information from Cambridge research. So they've made lots of papers on the way that the IELTS is passed, and they try to analyze how it's going. So they summarize that usually, so we can say that we have two problems while writing an essay. First one is not understanding the question. So basically, like 60% of all problems is connected with this one. Students, just test takers, don't treat to the answer. So they don't understand the question. They see like the topic global warming. Okay, so here is what I know about global warming from the beginning to the end. And one more problem is not understanding the style, and that's also a thing. Now, I have a question for you. So, about IELTS general and IELTS academic. So, do you know any difference between the two types in terms of writing? Also, I can write in Instagram chat. So, hi everyone, we are discussing IELTS writing tips and life hacks, what to do with this one. Okay. So what's the thing about IELTS general and IELTS academic? You might find on some popular resources like, okay, so it's clear so that IELTS general has different topics. If we go to reality, so and discuss what's in there for IELTS general and academic. So IELTS general is more informal, so that's 100%. IELTS general is aimed at broader audience, while IELTS academic has more into the university style technique. Then we might say that academic IELTS is more about university level material. That's true. But there is a big surprise that lately, and I mean, so like last 7 or 10 years, also according to IELTS official research, so question for IELTS general and IELTS academic are quite the same. But the response should be different because you're aiming at a different audience, so that's a problem here. Okay, so right now we get to the second part of our talk. So we're not going to talk about process writing, like how to organize your writing in a cool way so that you or your student will do it well. So I think it's a topic for a different talk, for 1 hour or even more talk. But we'll touch today the topic of criteria assessment. Maybe you've seen the descriptors. So there are some official descriptors that I use. So it's called the public version of the descriptors. And you need to understand that IELTS examiners use a different version. We don't have it. we don't see it. And if you saw on some site something like, okay, so that's the official version, so my friend, Cambridge Examiner, British Council Examiner told me so. No, so it's likely a fake, because it's really prohibited to publish something like this. So we're going to orient on public descriptors, and our information today is, I can say 100% that we rely on the official Cambridge information there. So we have the four criteria that we're going to discuss. The first one is task response. The next one is coherence and cohesion, or CC. The next is lexical resource, and then grammatical range and accuracy. So out of four, like task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and grammatical range and accuracy, what do you think is the most difficult for like many test takers, or maybe for your students? So just type in the chat. Okay, so really waiting to see. Yeah, thanks a lot for writing. Okay. Yeah, so we have four criteria. So which one is considered to be the most difficult? Usually the first one, yeah, so task response. Wow, thanks a lot. So in fact, so you just hit top 10 there, so definitely. Some people say that grammatical range and accuracy is difficult, or lexical resource is difficult, but we need to think about the first one, the task response. And we start just from this one. Right now, I'm going to read to you the official band descriptor for Band 7, task response. Addresses all parts of the task, presents a clear position throughout the response, presents, extends, and supports main ideas, but there may be a tendency to overgeneralize, and supporting ideas may lack focus. Okay, so once again, so addresses all parts of the tasks. And what do you think? How many parts are there in IELTS question? In the IELTS essay question, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many parts are there in the IELTS question? So yeah, so I see the answer to the previous one, that cohesion can be difficult. Oh yeah, myself. So that's also right. So okay, CC. So that's a hard part to get. Okay, so now we have like several parts in the IELTS essay question. So, and the correct answer there, so 3, Sesame Street Ladybird. Yeah, thanks for your participation there. In fact, so it could be 3, so it could be 2, so it can be just 1. So, but we have to understand what's in there. So, in fact, the correct answer there is that it depends. But 3, yeah, so that's a legal answer. Let us go to the topic. I'm going to read to you the IELTS essay topic, and you tell me how many parts there are. International tourism has brought enormous benefits to many places. At the same time, there is concern about its impact on local inhabitants and the environment. Do the disadvantages of international tourism outweigh the advantages? Okay, so what do you think? How many parts are there? So just 1 or 2 or 3. I'm going to read the question once again. So do the disadvantages of international tourism outweigh the advantages? Okay, so how many parts? What do you think? 2, 3, or just 1 there? So I see the answer there. So the answer is 2. So I see the answer is 3. Well, in fact, so we have the like, do the disadvantages and outweighing the advantages. So like we have there 2 parts, yeah, that we have to analyze. One more example for you there. So in many countries today, people are choosing to have few children. Why is this the case? What are the effects of this trend in society? Okay, so once again, how many parts are there in the statement? So see number 2, yeah, we have the question like why this is happening, and then the effects. And I want to focus your attention on effects, plural. You can't try just one effect, so that's going to be a problem with the task response. Okay, so then let's get going with some other parts. So when I have questions like why is this so, give reasons for this and solutions. There we're going to have 3 parts, like why, reasons, and solutions. So 3 of them. Then when we have disadvantages and advantages, so like 2-part only. Now I want to change the question that I discussed the last time. So why is this so? What effect does it have on the individual and society? That's also a typical question for IELTS. And right now you need to just see the difference. There are 3 parts. Why? What effect does it have on the individual? So that's the second part, and society. So that's the third one. If your student, if the test taker misses just one of it, that's going to be trouble for the test response. Okay, so let us then talk about the thing that we have to do, like short checklist of what we need to include. That's only about task response right now. So we need to read the question carefully. We need to understand how many parts are in this. The typical problem is that students just miss one of the parts. So they miss their opinion, or so they don't talk about the facts on the individual, just talk about society or something. So that's the thing. That if the essay asks about your opinion, you have to present it and support it throughout the whole essay. One more typical problem is that somewhere at the end, okay, so by the way, so the opinion is like, no, I totally disagree. And in intro, so it was stated that the person agrees, and the task response is going to be quite low. Now, that's a very interesting piece of advice right now. If you're asked to present both views, like talk about this one and that one, you need to make sure so that both views are presented equally. Like so we have the paragraph length, and it should be like practically the same length there. Then watch for plurals. So we're talking today right now about IELTS essay writing too, and some tips on how to work with this. So right now we discussed the first criterion, and that's task response, how to make it higher. So one more thing is to watch for plurals. If you're asked to talk about the facts, don't forget the facts, like at least 2 facts should be present. If it's about like, do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? So there should be like at least 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages. And don't forget so that the paragraph should be quite equal. There is a problem with Russian students, especially after the state exam, when they have it like paragraph this big about advantages and a small one about disadvantages. So this will be a problem for the task response. Then, if you see the word "and" in the description, don't forget to mention this to your student. It's important too. And one more, so write more than 250 words. So that's important. Okay, so your opinion should be clear. So you need to think, to read the question carefully, and you need to talk about your opinion. Okay, so let us get to the next one, coherence and cohesion. So I saw in Kentucky, so that people say that, yeah, so coherence and cohesion, so that's a tough part, yeah? And that's right, yeah. So we have troubles with this, especially in English. So some people have it in Russian, like problematic thing. I'm going to read to you Band 7 descriptor for coherence and cohesion and highlight some of the important things there. So logically organizes information ideas. There is clear progression throughout. So clear progression. We have an intro where we state our opinion if necessary. Then we present everything that is meant to be advantages and disadvantages. Then we prove our opinion, and then we go to conclusion. So this is called a progression. Then uses a range of cohesive devices appropriately, although there may be some underuse or overuse if necessary. So about cohesive devices, so do you think that that's a problem with your students, or when you write, do you have to force your students to think about cohesive devices? And if yes, so just type in the chat, please. You can try just plus. And the last one there. So the test taker presents a clear central topic within each paragraph. Just right now, we discussed that each and every paragraph should have practically the equal length with the next one, like advantages is equal to disadvantages. And right now, one more thing, clear central topic. Like, so there is general advantage to this, or so there are like many advantages like this and this, I'm going to talk about this one, so the topic should be clear. And a paragraph can't contain both advantages and disadvantages. And that's a problem for coherence and cohesion. Okay, so let us right now go to some examples and what to do and what to escape. Right now we're going to talk about paragraphs and the number of paragraphs that we have to use. It's not, of course, strictly written like, okay, so we have to use 4 or we have to use 5, but you can find their official recommendation from Ielts on how to deal with specific question types. An example for you. So discuss both views and give your opinion. So let's do this practice once again. So how many parts are there in this question? Discuss both views and give your opinion. I see number 3, and that's okay. And what else do we have? We have intro and we have conclusion, and 3 in the middle. So the number of paragraphs will be 5. Let's go to something else there. So why is this so? Give reasons for this and solutions. Also, how many parts are there? Why is this so? Gillian writes 2. So maybe so that's for the previous one. In fact, so there we also have 3 parts. Why is this so? So reason why. Then give reasons for this. So right now, reasons for this. And solutions for this, the third one. And intro and conclusion. So 5 of this. Now, let's go to our typical thing, something that we definitely know. Why is this so? Do the disadvantages of something outweigh the advantages? So how many parts are there? Yeah, about the previous one. Yeah, so it was 3. Okay, what about the next one? Right now, about the number of paragraphs. Yeah, so we have advantages, we have disadvantages, and we have intro and conclusion. So all in all, we are going to have just 4 paragraphs there. So, and take a look. So in this kind of question, I haven't added my opinion or like give your own opinion. Nothing was mentioned like this. So just 4 paragraphs there. Okay, so let's talk then about do's and don'ts for coherence and cohesion. Yeah, you definitely need to use a range of linking words and phrases, but they have to be really careful. So and try not to overuse them. Some of the students write like firstly, secondly, thirdly. So and it's like each and every sentence is labeled, and that's problematic. Then there's a general recommendation for Band 7 and Band 8 IELTS to use adverbial phrases rather than single basic linkers. So instead of firstly, you have to use something else, right? Then referencing and substitution. So this is what is checked in coherence and cohesion part as well. An example there, like this, the issue discussed, the problem under the question. So you can include it here. And don't forget punctuation. Punctuation is also important for coherence and cohesion. An example of Bat's cohesive way of writing. I believe, on the other hand, that individuals do have a responsibility too. Why? It's bad. So many students write like this. For Band 7 and Band 8, it is going to be considered bad writing because we have 2 linkers one after another. Another example of this. Some people believe, however, that individuals must also take responsibility to the environment. So it's not lucky for speaking, but for writing, you better avoid this one. Then, the way that you can change some basic linking words. So instead of firstly, what can you write instead of firstly? So just type in the chat. So an example for you would be like the first reason for this. Instead of finally, you can say, so a final issue that has impacted the whole situation there is this, and that. Okay. Then don't use numbers, don't use symbols and abbreviations. So that's going to be really bad there. Don't use headings or subheadings. So that's also not this kind of essay. And don't try to underline words or phrases. So some students think that if they underline it, it's going to look really understandable, but nah. There is a specific way of writing. It's called PEL, P-E-E-L. Also, if you know what it means, so just type in the chat. So PEL. Okay. So PEL is point with introduction of your topic and topic sentence. Example, example that supports your point. One more explain why this evidence supports your point. And link, transition to the next topic of paragraph. So that's the standard scheme of writing there. Okay. What else? We talked about paragraphs a lot there, so we remember so that we have to use a paragraph per each topic. So, like advantages, that's one paragraph. So disadvantages, that's the second paragraph. You need to use an introduction and conclusion. So if your essay doesn't have the conclusion or an intro, so there will be troubles with the final band score. So not higher than 5. That's what you can get. You need to avoid using long paragraphs and underused paragraphs. If there is like less than 3 paragraphs altogether, so that's trouble for the part. The main question that the student has to ask himself or herself is like, can the examiner understand your ideas and follow your ideas clearly from the beginning to the end? Is there the progression, the clear progression? What's going on with my linking words and phrases? What about repetition? Maybe I've used too much of like firstly, secondly, and thirdly. What about referencing? So I have to present it and change the words there. Then the number of paragraphs once again. Okay, so let's sum it up. So we've already discussed writing 2, and we discussed 2 criteria, 2 first criteria. So task response and coherence and cohesion, the second one. Right now, we're moving to the lexical resource. Some students somehow think that lexical resource, so that's the most important part. So they have to learn many words and just put them in the text. Maybe you've met such an opinion before. So just write in the chat so if you've experienced such a problem there, so you can just write plus. Yeah, so I see some questions there, so I'm going to get to them just at the end of the talk. With lexical resource. As usual, I'm going to read to you the public version of the Ielts descriptors for writing 2. And that's for band 7. Uses a sufficient range of vocabulary to allow some flexibility and precision. Uses less common lexical items with some awareness of style and collocation. May produce occasional errors in word choice, spelling, and word formation. So that's for lexical resource. And right now you might have started asking yourself about less common vocabulary. How to understand that it's less common? There is an explanation that when we say less common, it means not daily, so not something that we use daily, so in everyday use, and more academic, so more professional, showing that you know some depth of the topic. Let's get to some examples of what we can have there. You definitely need to be precise with your words choice. And you need to be careful. So if the question is about what government has to do with the global warming, you can't just talk about global warming or just about the government. So you're going to see that the topic overlaps. So there's a field of like a circle of government, if you use the Venn diagram, and there is the global warming. So what's inside? So that's what we have to talk about. Then we can't use old-fashioned words, and there is no space for proverbs, because some students think that if they just learn some proverbs or proverbial expression, they can put them in the text and so be it. So that's going to be great. But now, so this doesn't work this way. Then it's really important to use only the words that you understand and not something else. If you have troubles with understanding the meaning or with collocating the words, so it's better to miss it. Or for mistakes, yeah, you can be penalized and your score can be lower. Then you have to use phrasals and collocations. On one video, so there was a question like, okay, so really we can use phrasal verbs? I thought that they're just for the informal speech. But no, so there's a list of phrasal verbs for academic purposes, for using in sciences, and this is what you can have. And about collocations, there is a small tip that you have to think about word in the environment. So, and you need to try to think about collocation. So, as long as you can. For example, so promising future. So, would you just don't use the word promising future. Then maybe you can add the verb to this. So, to have a promising future. So, that's a longer collocation that can be readily used later. About the problems and what is going to lower down your lexical resource criteria band. If you have spelling mistakes, so spelling mistakes, especially for the most common words, so yeah, so that's really bad for the final score. Think about the typos and check. So that's why I need to spend like 5 minutes and checking it. Now, don't mix American and British spelling. Yeah, so it's mentioned like this. You need to use either British or American. So, but you can't write this in a mixed way. So this will be a problem. Then, when we discussed task response, we talked about overgeneralizing. So that's just a thing. If in writing you use words like stuff or think or just a problem without mentioning, so that's a problem. No old-fashioned language, like I don't know. So the masses talk about this and that. Don't overuse synonyms. Sometimes there is a thing that especially Russian students use 2 or 3 synonyms in a row, so instead of using just one. Think about idioms and cliches. It's better not to use them, so especially cliches there, and no contractions for sure. An example for you. So I'm going to tell you right now a word, and if you think it's good for appearing in Ielts, so just write plus. And if you think that's not something that you need to mention there, so just write minus. Okay, let's play this. My first one is stuff. Okay, so if you can use it, just write plus. And if you think that it's better to avoid this, write minus. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. So I see in the chat already minuses. Yeah, so just what we discussed. You have to use just the correct words right now. Okay, so one more word for you. Nowadays. Uh-huh. Yeah, see, this Italian writes no, that we can't use it. That's right, yeah. Somehow IELTS examiners are sick and tired of seeing this nowadays, so it's better to say in recent times. And that's like what they said officially. Okay, one more. Every coin has 2 sides of faces. So can we use it or not? Also just write plus, a plus or a minus. Every coin has 2 sides of faces. Plus if you think that it can be used in honest writing, and minus if you think that no, so it's better not to use it. Thanks, Anna. Yeah, definitely. So we just say they're both disadvantages and advantages. No proverbs there. Okay, so a small checklist for this. Think about the range of vocabulary in the topic. Think about making it precise. Try to avoid memorized language and cliches and proverbs. Think about collocations and spelling and typos, and yeah, so the correct form of the word. So not adverb, baby, but a verb. So not a noun, but an adjective, and so on. Okay, so right now the last part. So it's grammatical range and accuracy. Right now, firstly, I'm going to tell you the list of typical mistakes that is made on band 7 or band 8. And of course for bands lower, yeah, I have to think about this as well. So problems with relative clause, an incorrect pronoun, who, that, which, conditionals, like lots of mistakes with conditionals. Then present perfect or past perfect, problems with irregular verbs, like Stupid mistake, yeah, but it happens. Passive, gerunds and using gerunds and infinitive clauses. Countable nouns, subject and verb agreement. The girls are, money are instead of is and other parts. Prepositions. That also goes to the grammatical range and accuracy to the last point. Punctuation. Check there as well. So not just in coherence and cohesion, but in grammatical range and accuracy. Articles. Yeah, so that's also a thing. Right now, let's get to the checklist of grammatical range and accuracy. First thing that you have to ask yourself is about the simple and complex structures. Have you used them accurately? Or maybe you have some troubles with this. Then you need to talk about the range of structures. Okay, so maybe it's better to create a checklist for yourself or for your student. Okay, so in my writing 2, I need to mention 1 conditional. I need to make sure that I have present perfect sentences. I need to have at least 2 relative clauses. Maybe so there'll be phrases, maybe there'll be modal verbs and something else. Then errors, and especially simple errors. If you're aiming at band 7 or band 8 and you make mistakes with subject verb agreement, that is supposed to be like a lower level mistake, then you have to expect your band score to be lower. Punctuation, yeah, so that's also a thing. And a part, so the somehow is forgotten sometimes, it's about punctuation. Capital letters and dot at the end, like full stop. Yeah, to finish sentences. Okay, so let me just summarize it right now. So we've talked today about IELTS writing 2. We discussed that there are 2 parts there. So IELTS academic and IELTS general. And strangely enough, but the topics can be quite the same, but the mode of writing, so the way that you talk about this is going to be different. After it, we went to talking about IELTS official stats. And it is said that the mean value for IELTS writing for Russia is 6.0, quite a high one. And we have just several countries higher than we have scored. Then we discussed the public version of criteria assessment, because we're not just writing for the examiner, we're not writing for the sake of writing cool ideas now. So we need to score according to the descriptors. And the 4 criteria are task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and grammatical range and accuracy. We discussed the checklist that we can have for task response, for coherence and cohesion, for lexical resource, and for grammar, and what to include, and some of the ideas connected with reading the sentence properly, to prepare, to plan it during your writing, and to have a checklist of phrases that you can use and work with. Okay, so right now I'm ready to answer some of your questions regarding writing 2. Yeah, so hi everyone who is just joining. So we talk about writing essay for IELTS. So right now the question. So I see 2 questions there. So so about the topic there. So and how we work. Okay. So if you have anything, so please just write in the chat. And I'm going to tell you just some more facts about IELTS and the way that it is done usually. So teachers pass IELTS, and the general scores that the Russian teachers have is also around 6.5 or 7. And many people try to get more, so they try to get to like 7.5 or 8, and all the recommendations that we discussed today are connected with getting band 8. Okay, so some more key ideas for you while writing. You can try to think about the way that you express your opinion. So your stancing is a thing that you have to express clearly for the examiner. So an examiner shouldn't look through all of the parts of your answer. Like, okay, so whether, so this test taker agreed or disagreed, so what happened there? Now, so this one did. So you have to state it clearly. And what do you think about the ideas? So should the ideas be interesting? I know, vague question, but still. So do you have to think about the quality of your ideas? Mm-hmm. And the answer there is that examiners are not so much interested in the way that you like create your ideas. So they want to have the clear statements, and they're not going to. So we just read the I would say criteria. Nothing was said about like cool ideas, something great. No, that's the academic essay there. So Nina asked the question: what are the common topics for writing? So we can't say exactly so what can be there. So, but there are some general topics that IELTS usually has. So that's the environment, the society, the government and society. So like global issues. If you want to train and be prepared, you can take official IELTS papers. So it's called like Cambridge IELTS in the name of the book, like Cambridge IELTS 8, 9, and so on. And you can take a look at the IELTS essays. And basically what you have to do is to analyze what topics are overlapping. Right now, I'm going to read to you one more topic there so that you get. Some people believe that university tuition is an investment in a country's future and should be free for all. Others believe that tax money could be better spent in other ways. Discuss both of these views. So when you work on such an essay, you have to understand the overlapping topics. So we have university tuition, but that's not the key topic. We talk about the country's future and that university should be free. And the other opinion is tax money could be spent on something else for the future of the country. And that's a tough topic to write about, and that's what I have to prepare for. Okay, so general IELTS, Nina. Okay, so Nina, so there has also appeared a thing that right now topics for academic and general IELTS can look just the same, and IELTS examiner really say so that okay, so we can have the same thing, but the way that you write about this can be different. I'm going to read to you an essay topic, and please write in the chat G for general and A for academic. So what's this one? Nowadays, many people looking for a dog as a pet prefer to get the animals from a rescue shelter rather than a dog breeder. What are the advantages and disadvantages of doing this? Okay, so once again, nowadays, many people looking for a dog as a pet prefer to get the animals from a rescue shelter rather than a dog breeder. What are the advantages and disadvantages of doing this? So G for IELTS general and A for IELTS academic. So I see number of G's and number of A's there. And the answer is that it can appear in both, in fact. Yeah, so, but the way that I'm going to write about this, you have to be more academic. So when you're going to present it for the academic IELTS, so like you're aiming at the narrow university audience and so on. So, and in order to check it, so take this Cambridge IELTS official papers and last volumes that they have both for general and for academic, and just check the topics of essays there. So you're going to see this one. Okay, yeah, so it's both, Nina, that's right. So maybe more questions. So we have just 2 minutes left. So maybe one or two questions about writing IELTS general or IELTS academic essay. I want to remind you so where we have to write IELTS general and where it's necessary. So there is a program in Canada that is called Skilled Worker Program. And there you have to pass IELTS general. So that's why I think that 1/4 of all IELTS test takers do it like this. So they have the IELTS general mode. It is both taken in Australia, by the way. Okay, so some other parts. This, yeah. So then let me sum this up once again. So today we discussed some ways that you can improve your IELTS writing score, that you can make this better. And the key idea is that you have to think about the way that the question is stated. You have to be careful and accurately, and you need to think about the words that you choose. And your idea is not the main thing, not the crucial thing that is going to be checked. The key one is the accordance to this criteria. So task response, how you dealt with this. Then the coherence and cohesion, so your linking and overall logical progression. Then lexical resource, when we need to use less common vocabulary. And finally, grammatical range and accuracy. And in scoring, if you have like 07 but 16, you're still going to have 6.5 on this. So that's why if your aim is to get 7.0 in writing or 7.5 on writing, so it means that nothing can be lower than 6 to get this one. Okay, so then thanks a lot for having me today. So it was really great to see you. And I wish you like having great preparation for IELTS, and just check Sky Teach materials. And we have a lot of tips and tricks on how to deal with this. Have a great time, and thanks a lot. Goodbye.